Hi everyone, it's Ray from Ray Life Coaching, again at Middle River Yoga Studio in Stafford, Connecticut. And today I'm going to do something a little different for you, which is restorative poses. I'm going to show you 3 postures that you can use. Really all you need, you'll notice I have a ton of pillows and blankets and different kinds of bolsters. This is like a not so firm bolster and very firm bolster that's quite thick, and a lot of different pillows and blankets and some blocks. So I'm going to show you how you can use all of these things in a restorative pose that feels good to you. Of course, I'm only going to show you 3, but maybe another time I'll show you more. So it's going to be a short meditation today, but the time that it takes, you might want to pause this to kind of get yourself into a restorative pose that really supportive, because that's the time that you might need more time for that. And it is okay if while you're in the pose, you have a ton of things around you that you're not using, so that if you need them, you can manipulate the pose so that you're even more rested. That's the point. You want to be really able to release. Okay, so let me show you a few. I know I'm getting right into it today for a reason, because I want to get into this restorative pose. So I'm going to show you one with kind of a slight back bend. So you've got a bolster. Now you can either use a very firm bolster like this if your lower back and upper body, shoulders is able to open up already. If it isn't, go lower. So how you can do that is just have a blanket, even this thin. You know, it doesn't have to be thick at all. You could have multiple blankets or thicker blankets if you want, but remember the thickness needs to be kind of the width of your back body, enough that your shoulders can roll off and down. So you don't want it to be too wide that your shoulders are like stuck and your arms are like flailing on the sides. So I'll show you, that's why this is as thick as it is, because usually, you know, that's a good thickness, because my shoulders are able to roll off and down. Okay, so the other thing for me in this pose that I like to have is a pillow that's thin and that I can fold. Because if the thinness is too thin, then I could fold it just a little bit, and that would be at the end where my head is. I'm going to show you one where your legs are out straight. You can do it multiple ways, or your legs are out like this. Feet together, knees are bent, and you can use the blocks or you could use pillows. Okay, you want your legs to be not as extended and out as you may be able to do. You want it to be further up and more supported, because as time goes on, you're gonna really feel it. And you want the blocks or pillows to really support all the way to kind of the back of the thigh, not so far over here. I think it's really nice to have it all the way to the calf, to the thigh, and even sometimes like tilting it, or having, even just it being just a little higher than you're used to having it. Having both sides even is good as well. So for me, I have my lower back here at the small end of this bolster. What I like to do is kind of get my tailbone on the back of the bolster and roll down if I can. And what that does is then I'll feel the rim of my hips at the edge of this bolster, and it will help to tuck my tailbone toward the ceiling. Okay, so this is one that I really like, because it not only opens up the lower back, which a lot of us have a problem with because we sit and, you know, look at the computer or watch TV. This kind of does the reverse effect, but also opens up the hips. And you really want your legs to be able to like sit deeply, you know, into these blocks or pillows. So I also need something for my arms maybe. So if you're somebody who has shoulder issues, you can't really open up your chest that well, it makes sense for you to, especially if you're okay with the thickness of your bolster for your back, but your shoulders and your chest and back body is really feeling strained by opening up this much. So then you would want something for your arms. So you want to just put it beside, and it could be just like this, you know, where you're elevating your arms just enough, or it could be on just right underneath your shoulder and upper arm, whichever one feels good, and you feel like, okay, I'm really releasing the parts that can be released, and I'm supporting the parts that are just not able to open up yet. Because when you are in a restorative pose, the releasing will help open up those places. And so you don't want to go to your furthest extent. You don't even want to get close to that. You want to be able to have a slight opening in your restorative pose if you're going to do that. So I'm going to show you another one that's kind of the reverse of this. So this feels good. So instead I'm going to get up, and the reverse of this, really the same position except I'm folded forward instead of backward. I'm going to face the bolster, put it in between my legs, my toes are touching in the back, my knees are out, and I may need more. It's like the reverse, right? So I may need more height in here, so you might want 2 bolsters on top and have the other one a little closer. You might want some pillows for your head. You want a pillow or block that can hit you right on your forehead, and you have enough space for your face. So you might want to double up. Whatever works for you. And then I would take off my glasses for this one and just make sure it hits me right. And whatever feels good for your arms too. If you need a little more support under your arms, that is okay. If you want them back here, if you want them further up. But you want to have the space for your nose. So you want, something for your forehead. Okay, and you want to be able to feel like you're really rested on the bolsters or blankets underneath you. Okay, so those are 2. Now I'm going to show you another one that's really similar, but it requires a wall. So I'm going to turn the camera. Sorry about that. And lift it a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to go over to this wall, and it's pretty much the same idea. Actually, I'm going to have to move you closer to me. Okay, same idea. You could have a back bend if you want. I'm going to show you a back bend, but you don't have to have it. So I'm going to use a thinner bolster. And the further away from the wall, the less extension in the back of your legs. Okay, so because we're going to have our legs up the wall in some fashion. Whether it be in the same way where your feet are together, your knees are out, or your legs are up. So, and just so you know, that other one, the first one, you could have your legs straight out. That is fine. You don't have to have your feet together in that one either. Okay, so what this looks like is you have the long side of your bolster or blanket facing the wall. You want enough space up and to the side that you can roll onto your bolster. And you want to have, kind of similarly to the other bolster, you want your tailbone to be kind of slightly on your bolster, on the edge of the bolster toward the wall. And you want to roll down. I'm going to have like a pillow behind me for my head. Roll down and scoot forward toward the wall so that the tailbone is on the floor or closer to the floor. And you'll feel an extension from the bottom of the ribs, like you're going to feel the bolster hit you at the bottom of the ribs to right before the tailbone, kind of at the edge of your hips. And then you're going to take your legs up on the wall. Obviously, my feet are really far away from the wall. That means I have less extension in the hamstrings. And that might be great for you. You could even just bend and relax. You can do whatever you want. And throughout this session, feel free to change your position. This is kind of nice because my arms can sit. You can roll your shoulders back and have your palms up, or whatever feels good for your arms. You could also have more underneath your shoulders to help this if your shoulders and your upper body is feeling too extended. Okay, here we are. So find your spot. You can pause this to get yourself into a place that feels good. I'm going to stay here since I'm here. Now that you have found a place that feels really rested and you feel really supported by your blankets, pillows, and bolsters, excuse me, allow yourself to close your eyes. And if you have a pillow behind your head, just move it slightly to the top of your head a little bit, like a centimeter. And this will help rotate your head so that the back of the neck extends to the top of the head. And you feel that extension, and your chin starts to tuck in toward your chest, just slightly. Allow your shoulders to roll back and down toward your hips. Notice how that opens up the chest and allows the arms to open up. And your palms can face the ceiling if that feels good, or wherever feels best for you right now. Again, it really matters upon what position you chose. So if your head is facing the floor, you may want your arms to the side of your head or further up, or back by your heels. Again, if you need more supports, feel free. That's the point. Notice where your hips are and your feet. Are you aligned? Are you crooked? Where your head is. Could you draw a straight line from the center of your forehead down toward your tailbone, down toward between your feet? Would it be straight? Would it be level? Or would it be slightly off to one side? Just pay attention and readjust, because you're going to be here for a little while. You'll notice in whatever position you're in, there's a place of lengthening, whether it be in the back body or the front, the back of the legs, or the shoulders. Just bring your attention to one spot that's feeling pretty open right now. Allow yourself to bring the breath as you inhale into that space. And really open it up so that you can release it fully as you exhale. And as you exhale, give yourself the option to really hear the exhale through the nostrils. Almost hushing yourself to sleep without sleeping. Feel the extension in the breath as you inhale, opening up that space, and exhale. Squeeze out any tension and feel the part of the body that is facing the ceiling sink toward the back of the body, or the part of the body that's closest to the floor. And notice the exhalation in itself and the noise it brings, like a hush, is like sand at an hourglass. The front, or the body that's facing the ceiling, is the top of the hourglass, and the sand is trickling down toward the bottom, toward the floor. One grain at a time, from the toes up to the head. With each cell, you feel a letting go and allowing and a deepening. Even the mind lets go. In the jaw, and the thoracic cavity starts to sink. The muscles around the organs and the hips and legs. And in silence, allow yourself to imagine this hourglass slowly becoming empty on the top and very weighty in the bottom. Let's do this for a moment in silence. And if any thoughts arise, just notice them. Let them pass by like cars pass by on the street. You don't have to get in. They won't stop. Go back to the breath. Let the inhalation open up your body, bringing nutrients and energy. And as you exhale, let that part or parts of your body sink from the top down. Notice any places that are still holding, and breathe again into those places. And exhale, let them go. Allow your breath to lengthen and extend longer and longer. And feel how your inhalation is like a wave of the ocean, crashing into the shore, and your exhalation is like the wave of the ocean sinking back into the ocean. Breathing in and coming up onto the shore of your chest, of your forehead, and as you exhale, sinking back from your forehead all the way back into the hollow of your belly, into the ocean, into the floor. Notice how everything sinks back as you exhale. And really notice the wave of the breath. In and back out. Let it massage your inner organs, your mind, and any parts of you that are still holding. And on your next inhalation, I want you to start to pay attention to the noises outside of you. Bring yourself back into this room. And then notice the air on your skin, the clothes you're wearing, the blankets and pillows around you and underneath you, how they feel against your body. Take note of any places that feel strained. For next time, you can create more support or change your position. This is knowledge for later. This is a practice, not a perfection. And on your next inhalation, start to move your fingers, toes, and your knees, or anything else that feels good to move. You can start to bring yourself slowly into a seated position, bringing your feet somewhere else, your upper body a little more upright, or just sway over to a side, rocking back and forth. And just relax for a moment before you start to get up into a seated. Let yourself take your time. And when you're ready, slowly bring yourself up into a comfortable seated position. And on your next inhalation, slowly open your eyes. Bring your chin level to the ground. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today was a little shorter, but hopefully this is helpful to you, because restoratives are so important. So often we go and don't stop, right? And stopping doing what seems like nothing, which this was not nothing, is so important to restoring our peace. So if you can make even 5 minutes a day to just have a place of restoring, maybe keep the position and the block somewhere that you can get back to, whether it be a closet with a floor that's empty, or whatever, a space that is quickly a place you can go to get right into a restorative. Please do, because it will change you in a way that others will notice. They'll be like, wow, you seem peaceful, you seem calm, you seem like you can deal with the stresses of life a little better. Have a great day today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, and please let me know if any of this is helping or if there's something you want to see. I am so interested in what is working or not working for you. And I also, just a note, I am segregating my meditations into what I'm talking about in the beginning and